Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome LPMAM Learning. And this is our online open day for all the prospective students. My name is Ambra Sorrentino. I'm the responsible for international relationships here at LPMAM. And I'm very honored to introduce you today to Puente, that is the president of LPMAM. Stefania is going to lead today introduce you six professors and deans of this brand new university, this new academy in London. And I'll pass the word to Stefania. Good afternoon, Stefania.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this special event dedicated to the departments of LPMAM. We're going to discover them divided by keyboard, strings, composition, conducting. So we will be checking the chat both on Facebook and YouTube for any questions from our audience. And I'm gonna let in another guest that is all the way from Thailand. So I'm gonna introduce you one by one. So here we have, first of all, is Ambra Sorrentino, that is our professor of opera management and the wonderful organizer of the event. We have Hanna Gubenko from Switzerland. Hello, Hanna. She's a viola professor of LPMAM, and Valentina Ciardelli from London with double bass and composition and arrangement. Omar Puente, superstar Cuban violin professor, and Monique Monique, sorry, Klongtruadroke from Thailand, all the way from Thailand. She's a classical crossover soprano. Hello, everyone. So we're gonna start. Monique, would you like to be the first one? Because I know it's pretty late in in Thailand at this very moment. Later we will have other professor who will pass on the LPMAM platform, the online teaching platform, where you will see the conversation with the professors, and you will understand where we're gonna do classes and master classes and events as well. So Monique, to you.
Hello, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you, joining you this day. I watched the two previous open days, and I was like so amazed about this new academy and all the professors here. So I'm really, really honored and really excited to be part of this.
You're very welcome. So Monique is, you can see the videos of our professor introducing themselves as well and talking a bit more extensively about what they're gonna teach. But Monique is now in the string department just because of a problem of timing, right? She's not gonna teach strings. But thank you so much for being here. We have also Claire Oppert here from France. Hello, Claire.
Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you. Claire is a cello professor, visiting professor from in Paris right now. Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
And she's actually talking to us from the hospital. So would you like to tell us a little bit about your beautiful book and what you're doing there right now?
Well, actually, right now I'm in the hospital called La Maison Médicale Jeanne Garnier. It's in the 15th Paris, and I'm playing for end-of-life patient, and it's part of my job. I'm a cello teacher. I'm teaching here and there. I studied in Moscow, but right now I'm working with end-of-life person. And just right now I played the aria from Bach for an end-of-life woman. She wanted to hear this particular piece and asked me that. And she even found the strength to applause with both hands, which was quite amazing. So that's part also of my job right now. But I'm not here for talking about my book.
No, but your book is very special, and it's about the power of music, and above all about the fact that the conservatoire is dedicated to opening up to different avenues that music might bring you to. And so when you are a musician, you're not just training to become an excellent performer. There is other things and skills that you will develop. And for example, you have this incredible talent for writing and for this collaboration that you've been doing, bringing music to cure and to alleviate people as well.
Alleviate pain and alleviate suffering. Of course, not cure, but care.
Care.
It's the
That's the
difference
right word.
between
Yes.
cure and care. And of course, I'm not healing the cancers, and I'm not stopping the process of death. But I'm alleviating a little bit and putting beauty.
Yes.
Not only actually for patients, but also for big and for autistic children, and also for dementia people. But I'm not here to talk about that. But that's part of my work. But of course, I'm very, very dedicated to cello, and also to the transmission of the quality. I studied in Moscow, and I'm very much involved actually in teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you're gonna do at the conservatory. You're gonna teach cello and the fantastic interpretation skills that you have performing the cello. Monique, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
Yes. No, because I'm like so excited. So I just wanted to say that I can't stress enough how important it is to have a crossover department, because it's the very first time that we're having something like this in the whole world. And when Stefania first talked about this to me, it seemed like a dream. I was like, oh, really? Are you going to do that? Oh my God, this is amazing. And now it's like, it's become a reality. So it's really exciting for me to be able to say that, for all the musicians who until now, I speak as a singer, so for all the singers until now who were kind of like flying solo, and they were not backed up by a formal institution where to study. They didn't know where to study. So some of them come from an operatic background, others not, and they were just going like that and experimenting by themselves. But now they can actually study here, and it's so exciting because it's really all the creativity and all the different music from all over the world coming in the same place, and we can really experiment. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah.
Absolutely. So what we're doing actually, so here we have classical and jazz, and you're presenting crossover. So for example, we had Claire, who is a classical cellist. Actually, Hanna as well is a classical viola professor. She's doing her own way and take on the viola solo repertoire. Would you like to talk about this, Hanna?
Yes, very much. So my most important things which I do is making a new kind of repertoire for the viola, which establishing it as a solo instrument equal to the cello or the violin. So now, Claire, I'm so sorry, but I just finished all cello sonatas and variations of Beethoven in the version.
Don't be sorry. I'm open-minded.
And well, the reason of it, why I did it, that Beethoven has left just two instruments after his death, and this was the piano and the viola. And when I was looking into the score of the cello sonatas and variations, I really could imagine that he was writing it with the viola in the hand and then making the octaves
range
larger.
for the yes.
So it's really easy. It was totally easy just to hear in the head how will it sound on the viola, and it's good. So Stefania is joining me for the first recording as a pianist.
Yes, that's gonna happen very soon. Well, and with Hanna, we're very proud to announce our partnership with the Knesset Russian Academy of Music.
Yes.
Hanna has been very part of this introduction, and we're going to have our very first international masterclass, Russian masterclass, really, yes. in Moscow. Yes. And would you like to talk about this?
Yes, of course. We are very proud that Russian school is going to join us. They are absolutely excited about our school. They're excited about the platform very much, which was surprising me, honestly. And they are very enthusiastic to work together. We are doing the first master classes in September, end of September, for the violin, the viola, for first time, and PR things, especially focusing on how we can connect the Russian school and art of studying music with the things which are expected in Europe and America.
I mean, Claire, you can tell us it's not the same when you're actually going to live in Moscow and study. Did you study in Moscow, right?
I've stayed there many years. I mean, I finished the conservatory in 1993, and it was the most fantastic experience for a French young student coming from Paris. And actually, when I arrived there, I found what I was looking for all my life. It means a certain way of the certain relation to the sound, a certain way of not disconnecting technique and music. Because if you know how to do, if you, in a very, very living way, if you know how to do, then you are expressing right away what you want to do musically. So that was what I found, at least with my teacher in Moscow all these years.
Exactly. So that's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to bring all these schools from all around the world to London, to the London Performing Academy of Music, where possible physically, with Claire, for example, or Hanna coming to teach in London, or done through the platform with these special master classes that we're gonna do live streaming with Moscow and with other professors from all around the world. So it's gonna be quite unique and a unique opportunity to broaden the borders, isn't it? To break the borders.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And so, talking about this, I'd like to introduce you to Omar Puente. So, Omar is a perfect, leading figure for the Cuban jazz music. And Omar, you come from the classical training, right? And then you went into jazz, and you're gonna be bringing the Cuban school, basically the Cuban style, to the jazz department and the crossover as well, and I think also the classical at LPMAM.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that the work you've been doing is amazing. So well done in France. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Claire, can you hear me?
Yes.
That's fair. Yeah. I said really. What you've been doing is amazing, exceptional. So important, the quality of life is so important at any time and any age. So well done. Yeah. And the same way, I believe this master class with the viola, I teach viola as well, of course, not at your level, but is to get any music for viola player is like find a thing in the needle. It's so hard to get viola music for the students. So to get and be able to somebody to, go ahead and give the tools,
Yes.
promote the viola. We need the viola. We really need more violas. So well done. That's great. Really
So viola
fantastic.
is going to step out. Currently, I'm recording all Izai sonatas on the viola,
Oh,
also for
that's
the first
brilliant.
time.
Brilliant.
And it sounds very good. Every violinist says, oh, it's much more interesting to hear. So the point is the viola is nothing else than a bigger, sweeter, feminine violin. And we need to come
Well,
together with
I
the
know what I
violin.
say feminine. I said it's a strong, beautiful instrument, but
It's a deeper,
yeah,
more sweeter voice, but it has to
right.
be on the same level technically with the violin. And my idea why I have launched the master classes together with the violin professor, like
Yeah.
the viola and the violin is a unity. We are teaching together the
Yeah.
violinist and the violist, and we have to share the same repertoire. So I'm bringing
Okay.
the Paganini caprices, the
Oh,
Vinyavsky
that's great.
caprices, Izai
Oh, that's
sonatas,
brilliant. Yeah.
everything on the same level. And at the end of the day, we can always choose, do we want to play the violin or the viola?
That's it. I think that is a good way to introduce the instrument to everyone, the youngers, and see that there's a it's a way also playing the viola. It's a beautiful instrument. And just backing what you said so I forgot your name. Is it in Thailand?
Yes.
Yes, Monique.
Monique.
I think it's
Yes.
amazing. It's amazing project. So put people together with different background, and I think it's going to be really good and interesting for the students, for us as well as a musician, as a person. It's the first probably connection that we have here. You never know. You never know. It's a life. So it's the good thing about improvised music that life is improvisation. We start now talking about what we do, and who never know in the future we can do something together. I don't know. It's called improvised life.
Oh,
And
so
yes,
lovely.
I come back from the classical background. So yes, I have my Russian teacher playing Prokofiev, Paganini, Bartok, and all that, right? But at the same time, have really strong influence with the Latin jazz and Miles Davis and the Gillespie, and I'm sorry, I have little battery. I'm sorry, I think I'm gonna go quite soon, but I need to talk now. Yes, my plan is to bring the jazz and on improvised music, to bring the Latin jazz music, so vibrant, all the tools of students to approach the music on the classical way, on the jazz way, and the Latin jazz way.
No, of course, of
So
course.
most people want to do it, but they don't know how I can do it. And of course, with a classical background, they used to just have the music in front, and that's it, panic. So they take the music out, it's like panic. But no, if we would go step by step, I show them it's possible to do on the violin, and on the viola, and on
Of
the
course, of
cello,
course, of course, of
and
course,
on the
absolutely.
bassoon, or
And who
any
said that
instrument.
jazz isn't classical music? Jazz is very close to Baroque music. It's
Exactly.
actually very directly on the Baroque. So, in my opinion, everybody in the wild studies classical department has to go and have some classes with jazz, because in our system we have lost so many connections to improvising,
Right.
to being free within in the piece. So
Right.
the other thing I do is also with jazz now with Uri Kane, when we make a piece between classic and jazz for the viola and piano. So how
Yeah,
to
that's
find the
great.
bridges, because
That's
the
brilliant.
classical music is jazz too.
That's brilliant. Absolutely. So if you really amazing, it's amazing that we have this a collective group of musicians, great musicians, who can put together the best of us and the best for the students. Well done, Stefania, to put this group of musicians together.
Well done to you for accepting to be part of this
Right.
special conservatory.
Well,
So, yes. Oh, it's gone. Oh, we lost him.
Someone is
Yes, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna just give the word to Valentina so we can close the string department. I can see the keyboard joining in. So Valentina, would you like to comment on this? Valentina is an incredible double bass virtuoso. She's also a composer, arranger, and you're not just classical.
Yes, hi everyone. Nice to meet you. Hopefully we will meet in person soon. And thank you, Stefania, for making this possible and just like build up this fantastic reality.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, because with I don't remember your names, guys. Sorry. I promise I will learn them. I'm so bad with names. But I'm very keen in boosting new instrument out. Like, I mean, bass players know about what I'm talking, because in jazz we have an identity as soloists. No, if you think about figure like Christian McBride or Esperanza Spalding or all these top players, but in the classical environment with both double bass playing, we don't have this kind of identity. You're still a freak if you try to do something out of the orchestra. And what I'm trying to do is not to making all the bass players soloists, because we need bass player in the orchestra, of course, but it's just to give the possibility to those bass players, as I was, that want to do something different than the orchestra, and to explore the full variety of sound and possibility and virtuoso thing on the bass, to give the same chance as a violin player or as a piano player. And I'm very keen to spread this concept of instrument equity, that it's kind of similar to the equity we are searching in society, you know, with like gender, with ethnicity or whatever. People has to look at the, I think, at the artistic product and artistic message we are spreading, not which instrument we are playing. So I would like to be recognized as Valentina first, as a musician first, and then as a bass player, and then as a composer. And nowadays in the classical environment, especially in the classical industry, young generations, I mean, they're discouraged to seek creative careers just because, oh, you're a bass player, you just go and play in orchestra. Don't think too much. You have to do that, and this is not okay. So this is actually what I'm really trying to teach to young generation, and of course I'll be able to give them advice and teaching orchestral excerpts and whatever. But the thing I would like to give to the students is just like the concept of their self and what they really like to do, and not what the music industry is telling them to do. So that's the thing.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Valentina. I mean, it's gonna be very exciting when we will be able to all meet together. But we have people all around the world, and now I'd like to thank the string. Omar, you were saying something, and then you were cut out.
Yeah. Sorry, the battery. Yeah, but I now I'm back with my phone. See, 2021 technology.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely. I always be enthusiastic to teach the strings player the improvised music.
Yeah.
I've been working in university, school, Trinity College, and the external examiner at the Guildhall, and I know the much of the students feel like, okay, I would like to do more improvised music. How I can do it? How I can approach that on the string? And I am really happy to give my tools to everyone to want to learn to the improvised music, the jazz music, and the Latin music, which I said before. And yes, the classical background really did help me to understand how I can work on the instrument.
Yes.
What I said to say, yeah, and I'm really glad that we have a amazing team together to pull together and do the best out of our good. Exactly, and put the university and on the place.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Omar. I'd like to pass the word to Nikos Xanthoulis. Nikos, you are in Greece right now. Let me see. We cannot hear you. Did you mute your microphone, maybe? So Nikos is gonna be teaching the ancient Greek Lyra. Nikos, I don't have any audio from you. Would you like to try to refresh the page? Try refreshing the page, otherwise might be a problem of that. So Nikos was gonna talk to us about this very special program that is bringing to LPMAM, both as composing and as performing. So it's a very special instrument. But in the meantime, I'd like to go to Steve Beresford. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Steve is the first one from the keyboard department who's going to talk to us. Now, composition, we have so many departments, and Steve is part of many things. So you are composition on the jazz department, jazz and rhythms. Would you like to talk about these?
Sure. You can hear me, right?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Okay, I studied at York University. I got a terrible degree. I was deeply unhappy, and somebody said before about flying solo. I felt my whole 3 years at York University was flying solo. I never got very simple answers to my questions, and I felt deeply alienated. So obviously, this project we're talking about now is not going to be like that at all, and it's a much wider scope than what was happening at York University. Although even at that time, York University was renowned as a more liberal music course, but actually it really wasn't. So in terms of my being, I am a keyboard player. I play the piano and cheap electronic nonsense. And I've been playing a lot of piano in lockdown, actually, and on Zoom. And in fact, I had my first gig last night at City University with Moss Freed's 8-piece in front of a very, very tiny audience, but it was completely overwhelming to play with proper instruments again. And I'd forgotten how loud they were. I got used to listening to things on my laptop speakers, and then actually the physicality of particularly of acoustic instruments, I think, is really exciting. Anyway, so really, I'm not a paper composer anymore. I was a paper composer. I did use notation. I wrote many different things. I did a pastiche for a kind of pastiche Bollywood movie. I've worked with string quartets. I've worked with various different ensembles, influenced by all sorts of different types of music. But now I would say my main trajectory is towards free improvisation, particularly group improvisation. And I'm in the right place because London is the place for free improvising. I mean, somebody mentioned solo double bass. I mean, John Edwards. There are other wonderful bass players here, but John Edwards is absolutely extraordinary as a improvising bass player, either solo or with other players. And he's working all the time. He's extraordinary, and I've worked with John. I love double basses as well, but I don't play double bass. So there's such a high standard of improvising in London, and we're very lucky to have this place, Cafe Otto, which attracts audiences. It's a lovely place. You can get a decent cup of coffee. The acoustics are okay. They have a piano that works, stuff like that. So at the moment, I think I'm very much in the right place. The scene that I am mainly a part of is very, very buoyant at the moment. But my backstory involves, I don't know, playing on dub albums, working with the Slits, with the Flying Lizards. What else? I was in the World's Worst Symphony Orchestra. I was in the Portsmouth Sinfonia. I very much enjoyed. I played the world's worst trumpet. Really, really atrocious.
I didn't know you played the trumpet.
I don't. That's the whole point.
Fantastic.
So, I'm interested in that aspect of things going wrong. I like things going wrong. I think that's probably something I got from Cornelius Cardinal, although he's not my favorite composer. But I think some of his philosophy was very interesting. And I think, yeah, I think mistakes. I mean, listen to Miles Davis, who makes mistakes all the time. He's still an incredible musician. Or rather, that makes him an incredible musician.
Absolutely.
That's it for now, really.
Well, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's what we want. We want to share the experience as well. It's so unique, and you can't replace that. With just books. You need to have the person who went through that journey and managed to reach the point that you reached so far and farther that we're gonna reach together. So thank you so much. So we're back to Nikos. Nikos, sorry, before we lost you. Now we should be able to hear you. You wanna try?
Saying goodbye to all of you.
Bye,
Stefania, me too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining.
So nice.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, Nikos.
So can I start?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm a very classical educated person. I was for 25 years the principal trumpet player of the opera in Athens. And after
Who can really
so
play the
many.
trumpet, not like Steve.
You're going to remember that, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, exactly. And 10 years ago, I decided um, to learn to do something with the ancient Greek lyre. Being a trumpet player and knowing how difficult it is to learn the harmonics, the high harmonics, I tried uh, to find the very essence of the instrument through the harmonics. And now I can say, after 10 years of hard studying, practicing the instrument, um, I can play uh, pretty well in a high standard, to improvise, to play concerts, to play many things. I built a whole technique, and I have some students. There is an interest for this instrument in all over the world. I have done many journeys in the States, in China, in Russia, and through my work on the ancient Greek music. I'm not saying that I play the ancient Greek music. Who can say that? There's no DVD from the antiquity. So I'm trying to uh, uh, find the way that I can bring this instrument to this day, to everybody. So that's why I'm I'm here. I think that there will be a nice beginning of this instrument, of the lyre, that a new beginning. Um, this is the symbol of the Western music till now. It is very peculiar, but till now the lyre of Apollo is still the symbol of the music. So I'm not Apollo, but I'm trying to play at least as Orpheus.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's something very special, and we're very pleased to be able to offer this for the very first time in a UK conservatoire. And we actually have already students who are applying for doing a specific course on the Greek ancient lyra. So we're very excited to be able to start, and Nikos is gonna be teaching through the platform, the LPMAM platform, and hopefully come to London as soon as this thing is over to give
Yeah,
practical face-to-face masterclasses as well.
Stefania, I'd like to say that I have worked a lot for incidental music, especially for the ancient Greek theater, for tragedies, comedies, and all these kind of things. I have worked a lot in Russia. Do we have Russians as well in this panel?
We
No?
had it right before, they just
Okay.
left us. So we had Anna Gubenko, who is Russian, and we'll see if we get more.
Yes, and
And
there are four theaters in Russia, from Vladivostok to Moscow, that they play the music and the tragedies that they have in their repertoire. So I'm doing these kind of things as well as counterpoint, as a, the old system of the classical education of composition through harmony, counterpoint, fugue, and all of this.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And because we're talking
Thank you.
Greek and Greek tradition, it doesn't go with that because Eleni is a classical organist.
Oh,
Proper,
yes.
not just
Eleni
Greek,
is
but
next.
she comes from
Eleni.
Greece,
Hi,
so.
Eleni.
Hello, hello. And actually, I'm at the moment in Greece. I came for the half-term break.
All
I
right.
just got landed some hours ago, and yes, and I'm enjoying the heat.
Beautiful, lucky you. Ambra too is in Athens right now, so yeah,
Oh,
we have a special connection with Greece as well.
yes, come on in
And
Athens.
I'm very jealous, yeah, of the beautiful weather. So, Eleni, would you like to talk about the organ department?
Well, I studied at the Royal Academy. You know,
That's
we
where
were at
we
the same
met.
time. We started at the same time, actually, many
Yeah.
years ago. I won't say the date.
No.
And
That's the bit.
well, at that time, we were so enthusiastic, and I believe we want to transfer our enthusiasm to other people. I really would like other people to feel what we felt at the academy. We felt unique. We felt like we were immortal. So I want other students to feel the same, to feel that they are special, to feel that they are protected, to feel that it's not only a solo instrument, it's a very friendly instrument. It can play with anybody, it can play with an orchestra, it can play with an ensemble, it can play with just another instrument, it can play with singers, it can substitute the orchestra, so it can do everything. It's one person, one orchestra, or one instrument on its own.
Absolutely. And what is very special is the fact that we had an interview as well on my radio program, and this is something exciting, the radio broadcasting that we're going to bring inside the London Performing Academy of Music, and everything else to do with the music industry, so music production, and music business, and music law, music diplomacy, everything that has to do with music, and that musicians can push to the next level, really. And so what you do with the organ is to bring it really such a new, fresh approach with your passion for it. And normally people have this misconception of the organ being just relegated to the church, because it's in the concert halls, it's in so many different settings, and has so many possibilities, as you just explained.
It does indeed. It covers so many centuries of music, and they're still writing about, like the moment that we're talking. And also, every organ is different. I'm sure every other instrument is different, but every organ is different. Different combos, different pitch, different century, different touch. It could be mechanical, it could be electro-pneumatic. It could have modern devices, cameras, everything. All the pistons. It could have only hand registration. So enormous possibilities. You have to have a lot of imagination.
Yes, absolutely. So so wonderful. Now I'd like to pass the word to Galeazzo Ganzarolli. He's the dean of opera, and it's going to be opera and music theater. So it's very special. Galeazzo, welcome. Would you like to say something about
Stefania.
how you devised, and we thought about the opera department?
Well, let's say this. I am coming from a really musical family. I am a quite unusual professor because, in fact, I'm not teaching music or singing. But I pass my life working as a producer to organize operas and musicals all around the world. And I'm here because my love for artists, for singers, or for musicians, and all along these years took me to find solution for them to be able to perform in the highest level. And this I did in Wigmore Hall for 15 years. And that's the reason why I'm here, to help artists, singers, musicians to refine their technique, to find their repertoire, and to perform in the highest level. And that's the reason I'm here, and I'm happy, Stefania, to invite me to be part of all of this.
I could have not chosen a better person to lead such an exciting department. I think opera is something that is one of the biggest, how would you say, link as well for crossover. And we got the wonderful history being, led by Luciano Pavarotti, for example. And what we're bringing in really is the Italian bel canto and the operatic tradition of the big theaters and the big agency that
Well,
are
you,
gonna.
yeah, exactly. You know, now more than the time of Pavarotti that you were discussing, you're saying, an artist that able to sing on stage has to be a proper full artist. He has to have the knowledge of to recitare, to sing. Now directors needs to they are behind. Before there was a music director was always at the top. He was the one taking all decisions. Now directors are there as well. So it's really fascinating to be able to be part of the opera, and of course musical as well, or music theater as well.
Yes, we're gonna talk about the music theater a lot. It's not gonna be just musical, it's gonna be music theater. So we're gonna have a leading exponent of the West End and of the classical musical, but also we're gonna have theater and music. So bringing in incredible theater directors and actors where they're bringing the skills of being on stage, not just to the opera singers, but to all the musicians of the conservatoire. Because often those are skills that they're not taught to the performer, but even just the way you're walking on stage, the way you're sitting and you're dressing and you're presenting yourself to the audience, let alone when you have to announce something like a change to the program. It's all very much part of the performance and the way of playing the instrument. So that's going to be very exciting.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you so much, Gian Galeazzo. And let me just see, because things are, let's see. We have Omar, who's trying to get in. Omar, in theory you're live, but we don't see you. And, wait, approve. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go to the next door platform. So we're gonna go to the LPMAM online teaching platform, and we're gonna talk to the to other professors there. So thank you so much for being here with us today, and you can keep following the live streaming from YouTube and Facebook. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see. Here we go. And I'm gonna close this.
Hi, Stefania.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, and you?
Very good.
Cool.
Hello. So here we have Orphy Robinson, Gary O'Toole, we have Nimrod, Borenstein, and Fayyaz. No, sorry. Fayyaz. Welcome. Thank you so much. You're on our LPMAM teaching platform. Shall we start with Nimrod, because we were talking about the composition department. So the word to you. And
well, I'll be. Yes, hello. So I'll be visiting with mostly analysis, but I think that analysis is essential for composition to understand what was done before.
Yes.
But not in an academic way, but also in a practical way. I remember very well helping 20 years ago some students doing PhD in various institutions. And I remember when I sort of gave some ideas about different pieces, they said, where did you read that?
Yeah.
Well, you read it in the score. That's the only thing that is important. So I think that bad composers are bad composers for the same reason as the centuries, and usually it's because they are predictable. And so my teaching will be both for performers and for composers.
Fantastic. Well, yes.
Sort of real.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
No, absolutely. We had this very special test. No, we had this wonderful test together where we were, you were teaching me how to understand Beethoven sonata from. So we have video of it.
Sonata.
Yeah,
yes.
we have a whole video of it, and let me just.
Yes.
I need to make the restream a little bit lighter because we have because we're streaming live, and so please go on. So you can see actually the entire video on the on YouTube on your channel, and your presentation on the LPMAM YouTube channel and on Facebook and everywhere.
Yes, but just like a specimen of what I do. I find that sort of music is always music, and whether sort of I teach my own music for performers to play it or old music, it's always about the same. It's about contrast, about finding a reason, the profound reason for things, and then it becomes easier to play.
Wonderful. All right.
So that's what, when I come from time to time, that's what I will be doing.
Thank you so much, Nimrod. That was just perfect. Well, we have here Helienne, and Helienne, are you wearing headphones? Helienne, are you wearing headphones? Yes.
I am wearing headphones.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, brava. So Helienne is gonna teach for us something very special that is about the songwriting and the songwriting career, and Helienne is in the board of directors of the Ivor Academy. So I think your internet connection is a bit fluctuating, but can you hear us now?
Yes, I hear. Okay.
Yes.
So, I'm a songwriter through and I'll be something, music.
I think. Sorry, Helienne. Sorry if I stop you. Does anyone hear better
than me?
You. You can hear, because I cannot hear. So, Helienne, I think I'm gonna send you the link to try from the other thing to see if it's any faster. Might be that this is too heavy. Try again speaking. Let's see if it's any better.
Yes, now and
No, but also myself, I'm getting pixelated, so it might be too much effort on the live streaming. So because I'm the host, so I think I'm bringing too much to that. Okay, Helienne, you know what? I'm gonna send you another link, and I'm gonna see you on the other platform in 10 minutes. Is that okay? All right, so I'll ask you. Okay, so I'll ask you. Fantastic. Okay, so we have Jeff. Jeff, would you like to? Jeff Wesley, he's the Dean of Classical, and Orphy Robinson, who is the Dean of Jazz. So first, I'll give the word to Jeff, who is also a composer, because we were in the panel for the Department of Composition. And then Orphy, we can talk about jazz and with Fayyaz and Gary.
Excellent.
Okay, Jeff, to you.
Jack, I can't hear you. Yeah.
We cannot hear you, Jeff. So Jeff is in the wonderful countryside here in outside London, and internet connection is a bit. We can. You now might be the microphone. You can go into setting. So there is a button to your right that is giving you the settings. So you can click that and you can update which microphone you're using. Is the last one to your right. So Orphy, would you like to speak in the meantime? Would you like to say something? We had we had Omar on and Steve on the other stream. Oh, sorry.
Okay, obviously the jazz and the jazz and rhythmus department,
yeah,
obviously covers a lot of music, rhythmus, any music with rhythm. Dun, dun, dun. So it allowed us a lot of scope, and all the exponents and professors who have been invited to be in the faculty at the LPMAM are all musicians and professors who have extensive histories, also fantastic musicians that I've met along the way as well. The idea is to cover very well performance, as well as all the usual, rhythm, harmony, melody, all of the different various different styles, but approaches from across the musical world, I think. So improvisation is obviously a big key, and you spoke with Steve earlier, who is an amazing font of knowledge. I'll call Steve as well, improviser, and he was right. The UK has some fantastic musicians. There's a lot happening, and so it's good to bring some of that into the conservatoires, academies, whatever they're called, because it tends to, I would say, essentially, a lot of the conservatoires tend to go down a particular route, which is well trodden. We're now in the 21st century, and there's been a lot of changes. So the idea is to bring some of that to the courses that these students will attend and enroll on, coming from, I would say, the African diaspora, the Asian subcontinent. We've got so much music. The Latin musicians like Omar Puente as well, who will bring a wealth of knowledge, but also to take you right to the source. And then we obviously have contemporary music as well, because a lot of young students are very interested in having the length and breadth of music, so that they can sustain and go forward and learn as well, and bring great music to the table as well. I tend to feel that as much as you can learn is it's the greatest thing. To be at that table is better than to be on the menu. It's the way to look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah.
But I think I should also add, the idea was to also bring within the faculty the support services. So Helienne is an amazing as well sort of font of knowledge to do with musicians. Now it's not just about getting a gig, as we saw the last year. There were no gigs.
Yeah.
So you have to look wider than that. You also have to do the kind of Duke Ellington thing, which was to learn about defending his music. So we know that there's a lot that happens in your professional development, and it's how you survive and take these talents forward as well. So it's great to know all this amazing stuff about harmony and and all of that, but also how do you as a musician survive within this 21st century world as well is also paramount.
Absolutely. I think is also how to make it relevant to today, because sometimes the programs and the idea of music really is stuck to what was maybe 100 years ago or 200 years ago, and it didn't evolve with what is the music industry today.
There's so much music stylistically to learn, to to absorb. The industry will want you to play, African music, but not just, North African stuff, East African, South African. And I've played, music from all over Africa, Latin music, salsa, the music from Brazil. It's a lot of stuff to do and absorb. And the heritage of where all the music comes from. And with my instrument, you've got all the great trombone players from the past, J.J. Johnson, Kid Ory, Jack Teagarden, people like that. But Rico Rodriguez, is an absolute master, Jamaican trombone player. There's a South African trombone player by the name of Jonas Gwangwa, who's an amazing, amazing musician, And then you've got somebody like Wayne Henderson, who was with the Crusaders, So
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
we can have fun. We can have a lot of fun.
That's the plan. Gary, last time we didn't manage to talk with you. Let's see this time. So Gary is an incredible drummer, percussion for.
Thank you very much. Please don't stop. I've been very, very fortunate all the way through my career. I started out just doing pubs and clubs, and that was early 70s, working with my parents, and right the way through I found the demands actually changed, and people's expectation of what a drummer could do far outstripped my own expectation of myself. I thought I was God's gift, and I wasn't. And it took me a long time to realise what it was I needed to do. And on that journey, I found how to survive in the industry. I found what I learnt in the first place from advice from my mum, who was a pianist that played at the Four Seasons Hotel for like afternoon tea for 40 years, but her fans included Oscar Peterson, Darker and George Benson. So although she never actually hit those amazing heights, she actually had quite a lot to say. And one of the things she told me was, it's easy to actually start playing quietly, because if you start playing loudly, you could get sacked. And that stuck with me throughout my career and really helped to temper everything that I learned right the way up to today, where I still study. I take lessons with Peter Erskine, and the things that I've learned have actually completely changed who I am, not just the musician that I've become, but also my expectation of what my students need to know. And so that has really meant that everything that I've been through has helped me grow as a person. So
Incredible.
I find this really amazing stuff to be able to put on the table amongst a smorgasbord of talent that is actually the array of people who come to the table at LPMAM, who want to show students exactly what they need to know, and can be assured that there's absolutely there's no doubt in anybody's mind of each one of these professors' ability to actually draw the best from people. I really feel that.
Wonderful. Yes, that's
yeah.
Couldn't be said better.
And as you can see,
yes,
as you can see with the equipment behind Gary, but as you can see, it's like 21st century approach to drums as well, because we have to know these things. And the youngsters now, they have instruments on the computer, in the in their phones. There's so much going on with technology, and so we're working right across all of this as well. musicians have to be able to. In the last year, everyone has learned how to record music at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned to
Who
do
would have
this,
thought?
Orphy.
Hmm?
I
Wow.
learned to do that.
Whoa!
Well done.
Oh, that is impressive. Oh my God, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knocked a snare over in the voice in the process, but hey ho. Right, I can't get rid of this guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It's necessary to actually have aspects of the things that we've spoken about. I know you spoke about in the previous conversations that I was unable to take part in through my own damn silly fault. But technique is something that's been central to my development. But what's also become evident over the years is it's not the only thing. It really does help. And it's got to be something that enables the performance, the flow, the spirit of the music, the spirit of the player to come out. And it's really so important. It really is.
Yeah. Incredible.
The techniques are the nuts and bolts of language. So they're metaphors, they're verbs, they're synonyms, they're everything that make I suppose the granular side of the language. But then we as humans, we put that together and make these conversations. So it gives us those allows us to have those skills and to move them along and break rules and as constantly music is always constantly moving, as we know, as well. So if we can help facilitate that with students, then that helps to make I suppose well, for me, a better world of music, but that's a whole other side of things as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It helps to actually make better people.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental part of it, because especially in this day and age where getting the gig with Sting is like it's like winning the lottery, but not everybody's going to be able to do that, and people have the expectation that when they come in, sometimes, especially when I've taught in the past. I used to teach many moons ago, about 20 years ago, for a company called Drum Tech in Thames Valley University. And the expectation back then was that everybody would become a star. And that's completely unrealistic. So you have to think about how you actually create an environment. And that environment comes from us. Comes from us, the teachers, but it also comes from us, the musicians, the performers. We have to be able to actually translate that, show it to the students, get them to actually feedback on it, and the whole thing just starts to grow. Sorry, I get emotional about this. I'm passionate.
When I was growing up as a youngster and playing the trombone, we never had any of this. We never had. My teacher, he was a great teacher, and they never explained or said, oh, by the way, the music industry not only is this, but it's this. It's the business. There's all this other thing that as well you've got to deal with and cope with and what have you, So yeah, we're all ready.
We're all ready.
We're all ready.
Start.
We're all ready.
So
we're all ready. We're all ready to let it all out. Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, with the crossover, there's a crossover department that is very important that we wanted to have here at LPMAM, because many of us work in different fields as well. So it's to realistically sort of see how we can teach that and how we can develop, help the development of musicians as well to be able to be in those fields. And that we're used to having a call, and today we're playing funky music, tomorrow we're playing rock, the next day we're doing classical music, jazz.
Yeah.
That's our lives. So it's good to have an area, a faculty that's that, and that helps to bring classical musicians over to be able to understand how they can operate within these various different fields as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, now I'll
And of course, with all the
sorry.
sorry,
No.
no. No, I'm just saying with all the electronics available, you know, with being able to record and synthesize music on your devices, everyone is arranging. Everyone is dabbling in the thing of putting stuff together and building blocks and all sorts of things. So yeah. Sorry.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, we have to go to the other platform because we have other department that they're ready to start. But thank you so much for your contribution for today. And the application are open, and I think it's going to be very exciting to be able to share our knowledge with you all. Thank you so much. And so here we are. You're welcome back to the live streaming. So we have Helienne and Jeff that we had to pass through. Helienne, can we hear you talking now? Let's see if it's any better.
Yeah, let's see. Can you hear me talk now? Is this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now it's a little bit better. So before the room was full as well, and so we can't we can't see. There is other people in the backstage, but they can't come in because otherwise it becomes too heavy on the live streaming. So. To you now, Helienne, they mentioned that Orphy was talking about you and how important is your career and, you know, what you can bring to LPMAM in terms of experience in the music business and also in the songwriting.
Yeah, so I'm a songwriter. I've been a songwriter all my life, and I'm Swedish originally and lived in New York, working both as an artist and a songwriter. And for the past 20 years, I've mainly worked as a songwriter for other artists. And so what I'll be teaching is songwriting, but also the music industry, because through my career, I've worn a lot of hats when it comes to working in the music industry, when it comes to music rights, when it comes to I'm on the board of the Iris Academy with Orphy. I've also worked with music tech companies that work with songwriters and artists' rights, among other things. So I think it's really important to know how to run a business as a music creator these days. And if anything, I think I overheard Orphy say that, you know, if anything has taught us that, it's been the last year and a half, that you have to wear a lot of different hats, and you've got to make sure that all your revenue streams, that they actually come through to you. And one thing that I've found is that even when I work with people at a very high level, a lot of the time, the level of knowledge when it comes to, you know, rights management and how to get all that revenue that you're due and how to be able to kind of monetize your music is quite low. Because, of course, nobody goes into the music industry to be a business person. And a lot of the time, that's why, in the end, people who work in the creative industry are taken advantage of in that sense. So I think it's important to also teach people about management contracts, about legal representation, about all the different kind of deals and business decisions you have to make as a music creator. And the more you're empowered, the more resilient you are as a music creator. And for example, one thing that I've found, even with different genres like classical and jazz and folk and media composing, that a lot of the time, you know, you kind of get quite tunnel vision within your genre, but actually there's a lot of opportunities that you can take that go a lot broader than just what's right in front of you. So that's what I want to bring to the table with this. And then songwriting, obviously, because I've taught songwriting for quite a while and done master classes for universities and colleges. So I'll be working in popular music. So that covers everything from pop, rock, folk, and electronic music.
And so talking about this, I'd like to give the word to Jeff, because Jeff is the dean, Jeff Wesley. He's the dean of classical and crossover, and he comes from classical, and he has actually been working with the songwriters, famous songwriters, and and pop music, and not just only jazz and crossover. So. Jeff, would you like to say something about this? No, we don't hear you. What's wrong?
1, 2, 3.
I didn't hear you before. Ah, yes, now yes.
Okay.
Good.
Yes, I mean, I'm very much a classical boy and always was. But while I was at music college, I started earning some money. I was a flute player, and I was intending to be a flute player in an orchestra. That's where I was pointing. But I started playing piano in nightclubs in Soho and places while I was at college to earn a few pounds, and it just sort of pulled me in that direction. I nearly said the wrong direction, but with hindsight, it was the right direction, though maybe for the wrong reasons. I mean, it was a lot more fun playing in a sleazy nightclub with hooker strippers than driving all the way to Leicester and playing second flute in a performance of the St. John Passion. But doing that, I started working with singers and doing arrangements for them, and then that sort of drew me towards music theatre, and I was involved I conducted Jesus Christ Superstar for a year, which gave me an introduction to the Bee Gees job, which I did 7 years. Started off conducting orchestras with them, and it just sort of moved on from there. And I started producing records, but always bringing, I hope and I think, always bringing the classical discipline to work in the pop field, and trying to encourage the pop musicians around me who hadn't had the advantage of a classical education, trying to give them the benefit of that discipline as well. And I saw quickly that, as well as there being a lot of things that I've learned as a classical musician that I can give to them, like the discipline above all, but there's a lot that they could teach me, and or could teach the classical players. I just felt that a lot of classical players get far too wrapped up in playing the right notes absolutely perfectly, technically perfect with no mistakes, and that is impressive, but don't lose sight of the music. Whereas a rock and roll player goes ka-chang, and what they're interested in is the emotion that the music transmits. And that's something that I learnt a long time ago from working with Italian singer-songwriters, particularly Lucio Battisti, who those of you involved in Italy may know of. It's that the whole point of doing music is to transmit an emotion, and if it doesn't transmit an emotion, it's all time. And that's something that every musician can learn, whatever their style. So this is what I would like to bring to the table.
And this is the base of our idea of a crossover department that is really allowing the students to experiment and to search their new voice if they're looking for something that is different from the traditional path of the conservatoire, just becoming a fantastic conductor, opera singer, pianist, or any other instrument. And vice versa from the jazz. There is so much contamination that can come from classical, and you know very well, Helienne, songwriting. I mean, even thinking about dropping names, queens, that they were putting in symphonic things, and so many more, that they used classical and they put it into new songwriting they would create. And to be honest, I mean, it comes also from the opera, from the very beginning of opera. That's the top of the song aria singing, isn't it? So I'd like to pass to the opera department. We also have Damian Iorio, who is the head of the conducting department.
Hi, Damian.
So let's start with Alessandro Pagliazzi, who's there, and
can you hear me?
Maybe. Yes, perfectly.
Bravo. Okay, I'm happy. So nice to speak again with you. Please.
So yeah.
Do you have a question? May I present myself?
Yes, let's talk about what we're going to do with the opera department, in particular with your position as Italian opera coach. And
yes, so first of all, I'm very happy to have the opportunity again to speak with you, with such great personalities and famous people, famous singers. I would like to say that I'm honored to have the opportunity to work with you. Still working hard now in this moment in Vienna, although, the COVID is getting better. I know that in England is much better than here. You are all with vaccination, we are still expecting. And we survived a very bad period because here in Vienna, we stopped almost everything. I finished 1 hour ago to work with a young singer. He's 19 years old, a beautiful voice from Russia. So he's studying here with some little problems, but I tried to help her in the breathing, in the right pronunciation. I can say, and the Italian opera singers know how, not only the Italian, but the good singers know how important is the right pronunciation, the right breathing, how you breathe, in which moment you breathe. It's like when you play the violin, how long is the bowing? Because there are singers with beautiful voice who push a lot, or they don't know how to distribute them. How you say in English? Distribuire il fiato.
I don't know.
But the singers know what I mean.
To distribute the breath.
And so I am conductor, pianist. I come from an opera family. I don't want to speak now about this. So I think that I can help everyone to improve. And here in Vienna, I'm working with a lot of singers, mainly also the German people who have a lot of problems, particularly when they do. You don't have Austrian people.
German this very moment.
Of course, they say, hey, how we do Mozart is the best of the world. But I can say, if you cannot speak properly and make a recitativo, and to find the rhythm and the pulsation of the Italian recitative, you can do solfeggio, but it remains solfeggio. I don't know. I don't say the names of a famous conductor who died some years ago, who was specialist in everything. If you are Italian, you hear that things have to be adjusted and you have to make the recitative how you speak. Because if I do something in English, I say go to an mother language, an English mother language, to focalize how to do a recitative in English. And the same with the Italian. So I don't want to say more because I know here there are some very famous opera singers who are listening at me. So I can say only one word. I'm here. I'm happy to work with you, and I will do my best to help the young people to achieve something seriously and professional. So
wonderful.
I don't speak anymore, but in any case, please, I know that there are also famous singers who are listening to me.
Fantastic.
No.
But that's exactly, that's what we want. We want to bring the experience in this wonderful, you are there in Vienna. We're bringing experience from all around the world, from all the different traditions as well, to try to achieve really the best.
Yeah, you just say different traditions, but look, if I can say that tradition is a word that is quite dangerous. I would say more than tradition, I will speak about style. Mozart is Mozart, Wagner is Wagner, and Italian opera is something different. And but London is good. London is good. London is more open than Vienna, I can say.
All right, so I'd like to pass the word first to Chiara Angella, and then to Damien. We have, so this is the part dedicated to the opera department. We have some other singers that they're trying to get in, but we can't, other guests, we can't let them in because the room is full. So we, as soon as we're gonna have to do something to this. But anyway, to you, Chiara, now.
I heard with pleasure the words about our coach, because it's the right way on appreciation of teaching Italian style, and me too in singing teaching. I wanna transfer my Italian way of being Italian, and so the Italian way of thinking about opera, and so about singing too, of course. So I sang a lot of Italian opera, but I've had also the opportunity to sing foreign operas. And the coach told when I sang Russian opera, I've studied with Russian coach. When I sang French operas, I studied with the French coach. And I think to understand the Italian style, of course, it's probably easier in working with an Italian singer. I've had the great pleasure of being a singer in Italian and foreign theaters in singing Italian operas, of course, especially Puccini and Verdi, of course. And I've built all the characters on my skin, trying to find the ideas of them and the age of them, the old age, the old style, but in a modern time. And so to transfer all the feelings in the new way, but always in the respect of the tradition of the composer, the music, and the Italian style, because Italian style is, of course, a special kind of singing, with the legato, the breath that about he was speaking about, the long phrase with one breath, deciding to take another one and not cutting the phrase, because the phrase go to the end, not taking breath in the middle and making a lot of steps. Like in walking, I cannot walk and make one step, another one with 200 stops, because sometimes when I teach to my students, I say, like if you are a good driver, taxi driver, you have to start and to arrive, and your passenger has not to feel pain in traveling with you. You have to go direct to the end of the street, and with a great sure way and with a professional style, conduct me with you in this trip. And music opera is a very good trip, a very nice trip.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Me too. I'm very proud to be in this great team, because we are speaking about a great team, not one per one. And this is a great news, a new fantastic style of make music. This is a great team.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what we're trying to do, and thank you so much for being part of this together with your husband.
Yes, that now is not possible for him to stay here because he's teaching, but he's saying hello to all of you, of course.
Wonderful. All right, so we're gonna give the word to Damien. Damien, would you like to talk about the conducting department?
Hi, Stefania. I hope you can hear me.
Damien. Yes.
Good. Well, it's a pleasure to meet some of the colleagues, many esteemed musicians. And I will probably reiterate what I heard some of the other people talking about, which is looking to the future. We all have studied in a different era and worked through over a lot of years, I think, between all of us, and we all know how much the music world has changed, especially the bombshell of the last year. So we need to look forward. Okay, I'm a conductor. I deal with I will be dealing with a lot of the departments in many ways, because the conductors have to be well informed from everything from how to move their hands to how to deal with people, to the theory, the analysis, the history, the pronunciation, dealing with singers, coaching singers, being able to speak different languages, understanding how the instruments are played, and generally working out how to survive in the music world, because being a conductor is not easy. As somebody said earlier, how we all went to college and sort of everybody expecting to be stars and to get the best positions in every orchestra.
Yes.
It was maybe a little bit more feasible 20, 30 years ago, but now it's much harder. And being a conductor is, tricky. So what I will be looking to do with this great opportunity is to teach the next generation conductors, how to have a great technique. That for me is very, very important. I was extremely, extremely fortunate to study in Russia with the great Ilya Muzin, who was one of the great teachers of the 20th century and who's produced some of the most important conductors working on the top level today. I won't list all the names now, but there are many of them. And I think that school, that idea of studying a technique in conducting, just as you would with a voice or with an instrument, is fundamental. Put together with a very, very strong theoretical base. But not only, you need to understand things. If you're going to do opera, if you can't speak Italian and German, well, you're limiting yourself a lot. And you need to be open to learning other languages as well, at least enough to be able to sing through the operas you're dealing with. I've had to deal with everything from Russian to German to Italian to Czech. Czech is one of the languages I didn't speak, but I had to learn it enough to do the opera, The Bartered Bride. So there's that. It's important that students are offered podium time. We're in discussions about how to deal with that, because for conductors, we can't just play our instrument wherever we are. We need other people. And that, of course, as we come out of this terrible time where we are restricted with numbers, the opportunities will be there. And I think this is a fundamental thing. But what I hope personally to bring to it, I mean, I'm going to be developing a school of conducting, as it were. Personally, what I bring to it is, well, I've seen a lot, I've been around a lot, I've worked in some great theatres and some not so great theatres. I've worked with some wonderful orchestras, not so wonderful orchestras. I've had to deal with agents, with sponsors, with politicians, with all sorts of situations. And I hope that I could bring this experience and teach the students more than just conducting, how to develop a conducting career, how to survive. And also, if you're not going to go into, as Jeff was saying before, you're not necessarily going to go into what you think you're going to go into. So you have to be able to deal with different things, maybe end up conducting a wind band or doing session work or whatever. So you have to have the fundamentals there to do that, while at the same time aiming for the top. We all have to do that. We all have to have our dreams and our ambitions, because, well, that's what we have to have burning inside us if we want to be successful.
We wouldn't be where we are if we were not having that fire burning inside, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And the belief, that we would achieve it.
Yes.
And we definitely want to inspire all our students in believing in themselves, in their talent, in their creativity, and use it and push it as far as possible, thanks to all the different exciting stimulation that they will find inside the conservatoire.
Absolutely. I think this is a very, very exciting project. I think this is wonderful to see and hear what the other colleagues have been talking about. I think this is wonderful. And I'm very, very proud and very excited to be part of this.
Thank you so much. Well, Damian, so great to have you as head of conducting. Now, because we were in the opera department, I'd like to talk to Russell Painter, who is our Dean of Students. And Russell is going to be English opera coach as well. And Russell is not just a classical opera singer, he's also doing musical. It's not musical. Russell, explain better because you know.
Hi everyone. Once again, I'd like to reiterate how wonderful it is to work with so many esteemed people on this course. I come for this with probably about 3 different hats on. One obviously being the Dean of Students, which is going to be my job to help the students who are coming from, well, not only from overseas, but from around the UK to really settle into the London base. We all know how daunting it can be when you settle in, first of all, to a conservatoire or a place of higher study, and you don't really know the city. So it's going to be my job to help the students really settle into that, so then they can really focus in and settle in with their course. Obviously, that will be more prominent once we're in the permanent space, as it were. But in terms of my background, yes, as Stefania said, I'm classically trained tenor, but I've worked very heavily in musical theatre. I've musically directed in the West End. I coach many professional touring companies, and one of my other big sort of passions really is working with lots of different artists and different sorts of elements within the theatre to help to create the overall spec. Obviously, we've just heard from the head of conducting, and that's something I'm going to really be working with him, because conducting a show band is very, very different to conducting an orchestra, because most of the time you're usually conducting from the keyboard for the more modern shows, or if you're conducting something like Les Mis, for example, you've also got many other elements to deal with, and I think it's obviously it can be very daunting in a musical when you're just used to conducting an opera or with a symphony. Stefania and I have talked about many ideas regarding the musical theatre. One of my ideas, I would love to put on a wonderful production of West Side Story, but use all the elements within the actual university. But I think one thing that didn't tend to happen when I was at college is that we should be using every single element at our disposal. We should be getting all the different elements and all the different faculties together. The one thing now that we definitely see within the industry is that you have to be flexible. My head of vocal studies, the wonderful Robin Bowman, who at the time at Guildhall, sent a note round to us when we were in our 3rd or 4th year, and he said, "It is the flexible, reliable and healthy singers that will get the work." And that has stuck with me for a very, very long time. And I think flexibility is one of those wonderful things that I think this university is going to offer, because we really need to get with everyone's expertise. The people's expertise within this university is vast, but I think we need to pull all those things together. And it's so wonderful to have so many different people from across the world that we'll be able to collaborate with. In terms,
sorry.
No, in terms of my opera work, I will be focusing obviously on the English side of that. As we know more and more these days, a lot of opera companies, especially touring opera companies, will perform the big operas like La Bohème and Butterfly and Des Arbres Flirtés, but they will do it in English. And we know that there are lots of very, very good English translations out there for the operas. Some very, very passionate translations. And that is something also that I'll be very keen to work on, and to get in new translators, people who have written new
translations for these works, because I think that's also very important, that the students are working with people who are bringing new things to the industry here and now. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Russell. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. And you've been chosen as the Dean of Students because of your incredible talent of understanding and, guiding other people. First, me, when I just came to London starting many years ago. So I tested you at the time. Yeah, I think it was my mother's Sunday dinners that did it, Stefania. They sold it. All right, and we will go briefly now to Giusy Caruso, who is in Amsterdam. Am I right, Giusy? Okay, so I think she has some problem with the connection. So we have people on our other teaching platform on the LPMAM. So I'm gonna share again my screen. I'm gonna say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for being part of this today. It was wonderful. So we're gonna go back to the LPMAM teaching platform where we have some new wonderful friends.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. And here we go. Okay. Oh, what happened? Yes, here we go. Okay, we have the chat. Let me just go back. Let's take away the chat. Here we are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Fantastic. So first, I'd like to talk to oh gosh, I'm doing something wrong with my phone. To you, I'm so sorry. Right now, I'm just blank with all the names. You are the head of Woodwind. Tell me the name, please.
Oh, Roland.
Roland Sutherland. You see, I know your name perfect. Roland Sutherland. Who's a legendary flutist, both, and he's not just classical, he's also, jazz is also classical. So we were talking about crossover and everything. We have Bebe, and last name, sorry, I'm so bad. Because we didn't put down the name, so that's why I'm so...
Bebe Wang.
Bebe Wang, yeah, and... our fourth guest, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. You know, you can use the right button that you have there with the settings, and you can choose the, okay, chat. Leon Foster Thomas, hello Leon. Yes, I did recognize you. And you are in Miami right now? Yes. Leon, you know what? Try doing the settings. Is your right button, and it will tell you, it will allow you to choose the type of microphone that you're using. So you might need to select the microphone. And Roland, in the meantime, I would like you to tell us about Woodwind and in particular the flute and your incredible career.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Well, as you know, I've been involved in many different types of music since a very early age. And since I was studying at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, that's when things really blossomed and opened up. So, there was such a wide mix of, people from different backgrounds and heritages that it was a very easy place to, get together and explore each other's musics. And upon leaving Guildhall, I found myself performing music which was concentrating on Chinese music and classical music. Played with an ensemble where we explored lots of sort of fables and stories from China,
and simply mixed it with classical sensibilities, and it just carried on like that with Japanese music and exploring music from different parts of Africa and different parts of South America. So it's something that I've just constantly been involved in, and has always been evolving since leaving Guildhall School of Music and Drama. Wonderful. Well, what is very special also is the fact that you've been teaching as well classical flute, and bringing the classical students to the contemporary and the jazz music. It's something very unique, and by being an incredible artist in both in both departments. So you are listed just in the jazz, but you will be teaching as well the classical students, and that's what we're doing inside the LPMAM. We're gonna break the walls and allow people to be able to experiment and to get inspiration from anything that is around them, that is coming from classical or from crossover, to be more in the middle, to contemporary. I think, Leon, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Fantastic. Well, I give the word to Bebe first, who is as well an incredible classical percussionist, and who is actually listed in the jazz department and in the crossover. But you know, you are everything, isn't it, Bebe? Ah, Bebe, now we cannot hear you. Wait, did I mute you? No, you're not muted. We could hear you before, didn't we? Try doing what Leon did. So he refreshed the page. Might be that. Leon, what happened with you?
What I did, I didn't have the settings. I had muted my stuff before I come on, so I signed off and took all those things off.
I see. Okay, so Bebe, you can try doing that. Then Leon, to you. Leon is an incredible Caribbean steel pan virtuoso. Yeah, and I'm so excited that we have you on the platform. And tell us about what you can bring to LPMAM. It's something unique because it doesn't exist inside the conservatory, at least not here in the UK.
Correct. Well, I mean, first of all, it's a great pleasure to be on with you all, and I'm looking forward to it. I think also there's the whole idea of the steel pans. Folks are, I think, is getting to that point where we're past the novelty stage, where now we can really explore and give people this great opportunity of another instrument invented in the Caribbean, but also how universal it is. So folks, you know, where we can explore from classical music to jazz, which I am more, my focus is more based on jazz. So we push this idiom of Caribbean jazz. So you see guys like Etienne Charles and all these other cats. So utilizing the steel pan and within the school, within the conservatory is going to be extremely a great experience, I believe.
Yes, I mean, what we're doing, when you're doing percussion by any other instrument, really, often, particularly when you're trying to compose even new composition, staying in the classical department, for example, you're really bound to experiment the tradition and the heritage from other styles and other rhythms. And often you have to travel far to find this, tradition to be taught to you at the highest level or the right way as well. So, for example, we're going to have tabla professors from India that are bringing us the tabla notation with Kulibambra and Talvin Singh. And so they are going to really bring that from their own heritage and culture. And so that's what you can bring. And we had a very nice conversation about the fact that there is a big demand actually for learning.
Yes.
The steel pan.
Yes. Currently in the UK, there's quite actually some of the leading environments that has a lot of steel pan players. But one of the problems is that there isn't anywhere that you can get an accredited degree
playing the instrument. So you have that maybe in a couple of places here in the US, but in England, where you have a vast amount of players and also a vibrant Caribbean community as well, that is just literally branching off throughout different parts of the United Kingdom, which is all based from the Notting Hill Carnival. So from West London, where within the West London community, you have so many things that just branched off with regards to the culture, regards to the music, and with regards to the technical ability of the instrument being made, and also the exploration of different genres of music that the instrument plays. So it's going to be something really good. And one of the things I think which is going to be very important is to make sure to highlight not just being able to play different songs, but also to understand mechanics and how the instrument works, you know, to be able to open folks' minds and with regards to getting into that point. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And also collaborating with the different departments and what have you, it's going to be something very special. Absolutely. Well, baby, can we hear you now? Try talking.
Hello?
Yeah, we can. Nice. It's not very loud, actually. I don't know if you can make your microphone louder. Here it is at the maximum, or you can be near to the microphone. But so Bebe, that's exactly what she does. So she uses different, she research as well different style and instruments in the percussion instruments. So I think, I mean, have you ever tried playing the steel pan? Bebe.
Hello. Sorry, I just logged out, so I just logged in, so I missed the conversation.
Yes,
while
yes.
they were talking. Yeah, I grew up in a family. My father used to be the conductor of a military brass band. So that's my start, following him to the rehearsal while playing some percussion in a band and having fun with all the musicians. And I'm pretty much organically started my percussion with all my family members. Also, I have uncles play trombone, play trumpet, and I started training my mom play drum kit. So we have a family band. And we perform every Chinese New Year for my grandparents. So
wonderful.
Yeah, so pretty much I started like in this way, having fun, and then I started traditional percussion while we're celebrating the Chinese festival, doing carnival, we're playing with the farmers from the village. So this is another strong influence for me, exploring music from the field, like the real people in the farm. And then when I old enough to be able to study in an institution, I studied classical percussion, like marimba, vibraphone, or this classical repertoire. And after that, I came to London, still explore different genres, meeting new artists, musicians like Roland. Roland pretty much is the first musician I've met in London. I started to play and having fun jam with Roland a lot times. That's really brought me to enjoying swimming around different genres and bringing what I have, what I could, and absorbing as much nutrition from all these wonderful musicians around me. And also, I think Stefania probably remembered I invited you to the London Fashion Week.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Collaborated with a Chinese fashion designer who want to present work instead of catwalk, but also have musicians and sonic lab involved at the same time. So that was a really wonderful experience for me to even open up the musical exploration, the whole another universe of collaboration, exploring possibilities. So, and that's why I'm so excited that LPMAM could start the crossover department for musicians, for next generation's musicians. Actually, I think if I'm meeting my new student, I would be in part of their project, and I would love to invite them to be my project. So it's actually not teaching, not guiding. I think probably we're gonna learn more from young people, and they're gonna
gain some sort of different cultural heritage, different perspective from all fields. You know, it's a kind of sharing and having conversation with all wonderful people. There is no such as a teacher, student. But I think it's a wonderful swimming pool for us to enjoy splashing all the waters around.
That's a very good figure. Yes, totally. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to be inspired by each other. We want to have a place where the doors are open to mix and get inspired and create new things and really create a new classical music that is the classical music of the 21st century that cannot be locked into boxes and into instruments specifically as well. Really, you can have so much new instrument that also can be developed for classical music. That is something that people are not thinking. You know, at the time Mozart was working with the brand new fortepiano and then the new pianoforte that came along. So and it was absolutely normal to do this type of work. But I don't know how long it is since a new instrument has been created as well. So not only new music, also new instrument, and that comes from working in line with the musicians, that they know what they need, that they know what they want to find and develop. As well with the technology department, we're going to have a unique technology department where we're going to develop further technology specific for our need of acoustic music, of being able to play together, and who knows, performing with anything that will come from our creativity. The beauty of being musicians, of being artists, is that our mind has endless possibilities, isn't it?
Correct.
And our minds together with the students, they're gonna be superb.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being on the platform, for reaching us from Miami. And where are you, baby? Are you in London right now, or? In London, and Roland as well. And it was wonderful to have you, and I can't wait actually to see you in person when we will be able to travel again and to do things together. But at least with the platform we can play together, we can create things together. So that's our let's say campus at the moment. So fantastic. All right, so I'll say goodbye to you, and I go back to the streaming studio. So there we are, and we have Giusy Caruso and Emmanuel Kurt. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Very good. Now we can see you. Emmanuel, try talking. We cannot hear you. Emmanuel is in Paris, outdoor, and Giusy, you are in Amsterdam, right?
No, in Brussels.
I'm Brussels, sorry. In Brussels.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, in Brussels.
Emmanuel, we can't hear you. No, entendons pas. You could try refreshing the page. So I know that Restream works best with Chrome. So if you're using an iPhone, for example,
okay.
All right, Giusy, to you then. Let's talk about the creative
I have heard
laboratory.
The Mirroring Creative Lab. Yes, I'm very excited to start a workshop at LPMAM, that is Conservatory for the 21st century. So it is a new approach in mind, a futuristic approach. Mm-hmm. That is the result of my artistic research here in Belgium, where I developed at the department of the Institute of Acoustic Music Electronics a specific methods to help music performance analysis by using technology. So this is the core of the course that wants to bring some tools to students to enhance their creativity by watching, analyzing analyzing their own corporeal engagement while playing. So to be aware of their body in performance during the performance, and to connect interpretation and the score analysis and what we are doing on our instruments. This is an approach based on the theories of embodied music cognitions and the performance studies. So the goal is to present this idea to mirror oneself through through technology, so through different technologies, open sources, so some software that can analyze video or audio, and also to to present some other software, the motion capture system that can track the movements, and so we can have quantitative data related to the movement of the performers while playing. So the course is based in different modules. The first modules is how to document artistic practice and how to document one's practice. Then based on analyzing performance practice, on experiment with the technologies, and then the last part is reflecting, so enhance self-reflection and to improve performance practice. So this is the core of my course. Thank you. I'd be happy, and I'm very looking forward to share with your staff and with the students, of course.
Yes, thank you so much, Giusy. Indeed, this is the first step. It's one of the various things that will be linked to technology, and we really want to have technology dedicated to classical music. So that's gonna be really, really special. So, Emanuele, I think we can
now
hear
I cannot
you
hear you. I don't know.
I can speak. Is
yes,
it okay?
you can speak. Yes.
Oh, hello to everybody. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, I'm in Paris right now, and it's a really sunny day. So I'm happy to have a moment with you. You want me to talk about the courses and
the
all the
percussion
courses?
department, yeah, the classical
Yes,
percussion.
I am in charge. Yes, I am in charge of the percussion department. As I said the last time, it's a huge department with at least 4 or 5 people who will teach with me on all the aspects of percussion. Of course, one of the main one, particularly in UK, is to maintain the level of the skills of orchestral percussion, of course. So we'll have 2 or 3 people teaching that. But also the marimba will be very, very important. Marimba as a solo instrument, the vibes, of course, and the skills in the job of to be a player in modern music, in comedy, in musicals, in theaters, on shows with Corinna Sylvester. She's one of the best player in London for that job. But also, I think the meaning of the students should be to be more than only a player. Interpretation is very important, and to imagine the stage as an instrument to create some new ways of having a show, not only playing, but playing with other departments like musical, for example, like world music, for example, like with jazz music and classical. So many projects crossover. We can imagine also percussion with dance, with theater. So I think more than playing a percussion thing, is to imagine in the 21st century how can be the percussion in a show, you know, because it's a really a big pleasure to see this instrument in particular. So that's the thing I want to share with all the students in that purpose.
We were just talking on the LPMAM platform with Leon Thomas Foster, who is a virtuoso of the steel pan, and with Bay, and we were talking about this.
Exactly.
And we don't have the Indian tabla professors with the notation, and so much more is gonna be part of
exactly
the percussion department, from classical to jazz to crossover.
Exactly. We have to push all the borders with our specificity and share everything on stage, I think.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much. The time is over. It's we have to close this new event dedicated to the various departments, discovering the department at LPMAM. Ambra, any special question that we need to address? There was not enough time, I think.
Well, it was, as always, amazing to listen to all the fantastic courses and to get to meet a bit more about the fantastic professors, the fantastic team that is going to be part of LPMAM. Maybe we can remind all the potential students that they can read all the information and the updates on lpmam.com or on all the social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. For any information, maybe Stefania, you wish to remind them which is the best email to get.
That is info@lpmam.com, and then that is gonna be redirected to the various department, head of departments, if you require something specific for the departments, or the dean of students or the dean of department. And of course, to register for application and audition, that they are now open, and there is the opportunity to do both the audition through a video or a pre-recorded video with the audition repertoire that you can find in the various departments, or by doing actually a proper live audition through our platform, so we can have a panel watching you performing live and interacting with you in real time. So the audio of the platform is in stereo and is bidirectional, so it doesn't cut out the high frequency, and so it really allows you to have a quality that is stereo and high definition for having the best.
And can we just spend a minute just to remind them what type of courses are available if the students would like to apply to LPMAM?
Absolutely. So we're open for undergraduate, both in jazz, classical, and crossover. And postgraduate, we have postgraduate performance and the master research diplomas. That is the equivalent of the master degree. And then we have advanced courses in opera, in performing as well, and of course in crossover. We're going to have musical theater. We already can see some of the wonderful professors in the crossover department. Soon we will be actually publishing a proper page dedicated to the musical theater, and it's going to be very exciting as well.
It all sounds great. So we are looking forward to this, and keep in touch on all the channels, because there will be more events, more presentations. For the professor's video of introduction of the respective courses, please follow the YouTube page, because it contains lots of materials, lots of exciting videos and presentations.
And it gets updated regularly with new videos being published.
Yeah, so we encourage everybody to have a look, visit lpmam.com and discover more about this fantastic opportunity. And we're looking forward to welcoming you soon. Have a nice evening.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.